This snake brought by the US military killed everything. In the 1940s, right after World War II ended, US military ships were headed back to Guam. Among the cargo, supplies, and exhausted soldiers, there was one unexpected stowaway, a brown tree snake, probably a female. You might be thinking, how much trouble could one little snake cause? Well, what if I told you that this uninvited guest would cause the extinction of multiple species, island-wide blackouts, and millions of dollars in damages, all while slithering into people's homes and even their toilets? How did one snake species become one of the most destructive ecological invaders in history? Stick around, because this story is about to get wild. The brown tree snake, a masterful predator, had just hit the jackpot. Its natural home was Papua New Guinea, where it had to compete with other predators. But on Guam, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet, and none of the local animals had ever encountered a snake before, so they had no idea how to defend themselves. The result? Birds vanished. Local lizard species disappeared. Even people's pet cats mysteriously went missing. And if you thought that was bad, the snakes started showing up everywhere, inside homes, on patios, and yes, even in toilets. But it didn't stop there. These sneaky serpents had another unusual hobby: climbing power lines. When they did, it often caused power outages that could last up to 4 days. The island plunged into darkness, and the costs piled up, over $1 million annually. Now you might be wondering, how did the snake even survive the long journey on a ship? After all, military ships aren't luxury cruises stocked with food. That here's the answer. Brown tree snakes can go months without eating. Yep, you read that right. Some of you might be thinking, no way, that's impossible. But it's true. This survival superpower is one of the reasons these snakes became such successful invaders. With thousands of snakes taking over the island, authorities had to get creative. In 2012, helicopters flew over Guam's jungles dropping dead mice. But these weren't ordinary mice. They were laced with acetaminophen, yes, the same stuff in Tylenol. Turns out acetaminophen is deadly to brown tree snakes. That wasn't the only approach. Snake-detecting dogs were deployed. Snake traps were set. Even snake-proof fences were built. But despite all the effort, eradicating an invasive species is no small task. The short answer? It's complicated. While efforts continue, completely ridding the island of brown tree snakes is a monumental challenge. But believe it or not, Guam isn't the only place where invasive species wreaked havoc. This next story takes us to Australia, where a seemingly simple solution turned into one of the country's most expensive environmental disasters. It all started in 1935 when sugarcane farmers had a problem. Cane beetles were devouring their crops. Desperate for a solution, they imported an unlikely hero, the cane toad. The plan? Let the toads eat the beetles. But there was just one problem. The toads didn't care about the beetles. Instead, they decided to feast on just about everything except the beetles. Within 2 months, the toad population exploded into the millions. Why? Cane toads had no natural predators in Australia, and to make things worse, they were toxic. These toads produce a potent poison called bufatoxin, which is lethal to almost any animal that tries to eat them. Snakes, dingoes, and even birds that tried to eat the toads died. On top of that, cane toads started outcompeting native species for food and habitats, throwing the whole ecosystem into chaos. Controlling the cane toad population wasn't easy. Each female can lay up to 30,000 eggs at a time. Add in their toxic defense system, and they basically became untouchable. Efforts to stop them included toad busting, events where volunteers hunted and removed as many as they could. Scientists also explored biological control methods, but no perfect solution has been found. Invasive species, whether it's a single snake or an army of toxic toads, can wreak havoc on entire ecosystems. It's a reminder that sometimes the smallest intruders can cause the biggest problems. What do you think about these wild invaders? Which story surprised you more? The snake invasion of Guam or Australia's cane toad crisis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories like these. See you next time.